Hi, my name's Gordon Pereira. I've been in Nanaimo for 5 years now, and I've been coming to Neighbourhood Church for, say, about the last 3 months, something like that. And I've been looking for a church to go to, and tried a few different ones. Then I found this one through meeting Travis, and hearing him brought me to the church. And once I was here, I saw what the church was involved in as far as community, and that attracted me. And I respect it, and I keep coming. Part of my story of what brought me to Nanaimo, my mother passed away due to human error, if you will. Many of the doctors said the chances and the odds of what happened to her happening are 1 in a billion to 1 in a trillion kind of thing. So with the laser surgery on her eye, she got an infection after the surgery. I took her to the hospital to get it checked out. And when we got there, it was a stat holiday. And so the emergency was a complete zoo. So we got sent to the eye clinic, and there was one resident doctor there. Took my mom into the examining room, and she said, confirmed there's definitely an infection. In order to find out what it is, we have to extract some fluid from your eye. So she sent us on our way to get some food while she ordered in the freezing solution, local anesthetic. And when we got back, she took my mom in, administered the shot, and she came out to call the specialist. When she went back in the room, my mom was unconscious, and I learned later she had a pulse but not breathing. So paramedics showed up right away, took her to the hospital. She stayed in a coma state for about a month, and in that month period, I chose to drink. Basically, I ended up getting addicted to the drugs I was using and drinking. And so for 5 years, I lived that way. And I should say about 10 days after my mom passed away, my dad, who was with dementia in a nursing home, he also passed away, and he chose to not eat because he wanted out. The love of his life was gone, and he didn't want to be here anymore. So these things happened, and they were like, I call it as like rocket fuel for my addiction. And so I ran with it, very empty on the inside. And for about 5 years, I lived like a shell, pretending to be okay. However, on the inside, I was completely devoid of spirit. I remember I was in a dark room in my living room, curled up on the couch in a fetal position. I was using and drinking, and neither was working, and it scared me to death because now that thing I was using to numb was not working. So I was going to feel these feelings coming up, and so I looked up and I said, "God, please help me," and I fell asleep. And the next morning, my sister and a friend from the recovery circle in Vancouver showed up at my doorstep, and that was God's answer. He had answered my prayer that night, very, very quickly answered, because when they showed up, that friend in recovery helped me at my feet, got me to meetings, and when I went to those meetings there, I went in with a lot of guilt and shame, and I was met with a lot of love. I made some decisions at that time with people entering my life and entering into recovery, where I decided to get help. And so I came here to a treatment center here to get some help. And the original plan was to go in for the 2 months, go back home and start living again, try to rebuild my life. However, I ended up into the extended program and stayed on, and absolutely fell in love with Nanaimo and the people here, the people mainly. And so through doing volunteering, ending up going to the university here, changing careers. I was in the hotel industry there, and I am now a hairdresser, complete 180. However, this job gives me creativity, people connections, just complete fulfillment. I do this with a chaplain, and he left me with one thought when we were done. And this is a thought that has stayed with me and has affected me, changed my life, actually. And what he did, he said, "This is what I see in you. When you were in your addiction, this is you and this is God. And when you were in your addiction, you felt you did this. And you turned away and you went away. And when you turned back, you figured God was way over here. But what actually happened was you were like this, and when you turned, he was right with you. And as soon as you turned back, there he was. He's always been in my life. And so I've always felt alone before. And when he did that, I had this revelation where I've never been alone. And as a result, even when I'm physically by myself, I'd never feel alone. I always feel him there. I also feel the presence of my parents around me all the time. And as a result, everything in life has meaning today. I look at the little details in my life. I look at the bigger things that happen, and it brings me joy. And I want to share that joy with people. And so my job affords me that. Connecting to people in the church. I've met a few people since coming here, and I love coming here. I love the church, and I love Nanaimo, and I love my job. So it's been quite the journey, and I look forward to wherever it's going to go, wherever it's going to lead me.